Hello, everyone. Stephanie Clegg here once again with another mental health moment. I am a licensed associate counselor and I get excited about presenting mental health topics and sharing with you. And today I have a good one. We're going to talk about ghosting. Have you ever been ghosted? Where someone that you're in communication with just all of a sudden seems like they falling off the face of the earth. They stop calling you, returning your calls. They stop texting back. Right. So we're going to talk about that. Here's today's topic: why people ghost and how to get over it. This is a very interesting topic. So the idea of ghosting has entered mainstream, like our main culture, and we talk about it more prevalently because it's come about due to the dating apps and social media. Thank you, dating apps. Thank you, social media, right? I hear people often say on the dating apps that what they like about the dating apps is if you don't feel a connection with someone, um, that it's easier to end the relationship with someone by just not returning their messages, right? Or not receiving their messages, or you can block the person and it's easier, right? So so here we go. So when someone stops responding to your messages or taking your call suddenly and without explanation, you've been ghosted. Okay. Even though it happens all the time, right? It could feel like it's the end of the world for some people. So we're going to help you out. If you're in that situation or have been in that situation and you're still struggling with it, I'm going to help you out with that today. So when we talk about ghosting, most people use that terminology with regards to dating. Like, I think pretty much all of us have been in a situation where we've ghosted someone or they've ghosted us. I just want to share that, first of all, that's a passive aggressive behavior. And I know that sounds like an oxymoron. If you're passive, how can you be aggressive? Um, the best example I can give is if I'm upset with you but I don't say verbally that I'm upset with you, but I'm just not going to do anything that you say. And I'm just not going to respond to you. That's an aggressive move, but it's done in a aggressive move, but it's done in a passive manner, right? It's aggressive behavior, but it's done passively. So it's passive aggressive behavior. And this is the part that I found out and discovered is that it's just not limited to romance, right? It can also happen in friendships, personal relationships, and families. Get this. Let me give you an example. So, you plan to go lunch with a friend you haven't seen in years, and after spending a few days texting back and forth about a date and time, they stop responding. That's what it could look like with a friend. Your sister got married several years ago and moved away, but when you reach out to plan a visit, she never replies. Example of family ghosting us. After a job interview, a hiring manager says you'll hear back the following week about whether an offer is coming, and then they never contact you again. Now, I think by show of hands, we can all say we have applied for positions. We've been told they'll let us know next week, next month, and we never hear back from the companies or from the corporations. That's what professional ghosting looks like. And then just one more. You've been messaging for weeks with someone you met on Instagram. You both agree to meet at a coffee shop, but they don't show up. And they won't respond to your messages when you ask where they are. Ghosting in different situations, right? Not just romantic, but friends, families, and professionally. That was profound for me. So ghosting is just the total disappearing, right? Like I said earlier, like someone it appears like the person is falling off the face of the earth. But did you know there is something called breadcrumbing? Breadcrumbing, where a person acts like they're interested, but they never follow through with concrete plans. So what they do is they'll occasionally or randomly text you, inbox you, um, reach out to you, and they build up false hope that this relationship, if you want to call it that, or situationship, right, might become something more serious but the person lacks a level of commitment. That's called breadcrumbing, right? So in ghosting, they ghost you altogether, never to hear from them again. Breadcrumbings are where they lead you on, like just like little breadcrumbs. They bait you. So I didn't know about breadcrumbing, so that's new. So let's get into why people ghost, right? Um, you may assume that when someone ghosts you, that it's something about you or that that person doesn't care about you, but that's not always the case. On the other side of ghosting, right, is a human being who may feel that they have no choice but to cut off communication. And they're more likely to behave this way for several reasons. Personality traits such as introversion, shyness, or perfectionism. So, if I'm an introverted person, I can fake being outgoing electronically, right, by my words and what I'm typing to you electronically. But if we meet face to face, you can see that I'm introverted and you can see my shyness. Or if I'm a perfectionist type person, I can fake it online. I can act like things are okay when I really think that they're not because I need perfection. But face to face, it's hard to fake that. Um, Anxiety over difficult situations and conversations, right? We all like to avoid difficult situations and conversations. So the ghoster, if they feel like if they meet you face to face and they get into like a difficult conversation, that's going to invoke anxiety in them. So they're not going to do it. They're not going to show up. Fear, rejection, and judgment. Again, we can fake many things online, but face to face is another story. Fear of hurting your feelings, right? People don't want to meet you face to face and say what they really think. Stress or overwhelmed feelings, insecurity, and low self esteem. I can fake that online. We can fake that online, but you can't do that face to face. And maybe the person has their own history of trauma and worries about being abandoned. It's that I'm going to end the relationship before you end the relationship, right? So, those are just some of the reasons why people ghost other people. There was a study done that found that people who previously ghosted partners tend to be, first of all, they see it as acceptable behavior, and they tend to be narcissistic, meaning it's all about them. And some people have psychopathic traits, which means that there's a serious mental health concern. So it has nothing to do with you, right? It has nothing to do with the person being ghosted. It's just this person has their own issues. So, how ghosting can affect you. Even if you know that it's not you, it's them, being ghosted can be incredibly painful. And it shows up, we may experience shock, disbelief, frustration, anger, sadness, resentment, guilt, shame, anxiety, and even depression. And it's normal to feel these negative emotions. So, how do we deal with being ghosted? So, nobody ever plans to be ghosted, being ghosted, to plans to get ghosted. No one plans to get ghosted. So when it happens, it usually catches us off guard, right? So here's some tips to cope as we get ready to end. Tip number one, stop chasing. Reaching out again and again for answers, trying to figure out why the person is ghosting you, can make you feel worse. What you can do is delete their phone number or unfollow them or block them if they're on social media. Number two, let yourself grieve. Don't bottle up the sense of loss. Allow yourself time and space to process your grief. Number three, remind yourself it's not your fault. Ghosting often has more to do with the ghoster's problem than with something you did or said. Number four, write down your thoughts. Journaling is very therapeutic. If you're going to journal, try to focus on naming your feelings, exploring why you feel the way that you do, and then deciding on ways that you can move forward. Number five, talk to someone you trust, friend, family member who's a good listener, because they can remind you that you're not alone, as well as let you get things off your chest. Number six, pump up your self care routine. Prioritize your physical and emotional health will help you feel better and remind you of your worth. Number 7, focus on what you can control. Try focusing on aspects of your life that you do have control over and be proactive about making positive shifts in your life. I think this is number 8. Remember that healing takes time. It may take a while for you to feel better, so be patient and be compassionate with yourself. Remember, your distress will ease and you won't feel bad forever. And then finally, get extra support. Talk to a mental health professional, can be a big help in processing like negative emotions, feelings of being overwhelmed, as those things can negatively impact your everyday life. A therapist or a counselor can help you gain insight into your experience and develop healthy coping mechanisms. So that's it for today. Give me some feedback and let me know what your thoughts are on ghosting, and I'll see you in the next video.